Hi everyone and welcome to Book Boop. My name is Rachel and Happy New Year! Today I'm going to talk about all the books I'm hoping to read in January of 2022. I have several books here. I may not be able to get through all these because some of them are some chunkers, but let's go ahead and talk about what I'm hoping to get to in January. The first few I'm going to show you are ones I do not physically have, but I will show you a picture of so you can keep track with me and see the beautiful covers of these books. The first one, which feels so appropriate and the only time of year to read it, is The 10,000 Doors of January by Alix Harrow. This one just sounds super fascinating. I've been sitting on it forever, and for some reason in my brain of my brains, I feel like I can only read this in January, which is stupid. But for some reason I see the word January, I'm like, it must be read in January. This story, we are following this girl whose father has like a curiosity shop or like a home full of a bunch of interesting curiosities. And this girl ends up finding a book that leads her to different doors in the house that go to different worlds. So I believe it's like a portal fantasy type thing. That's all I know about it, and it sounds amazing. I've heard a lot of really good things. So I'm hoping to get to this one in January. I need to make it happen this year because I've been sitting on that one for way too long and I really need to get to it. The next is Near the Bone by Christina Henry. This one sounds like it's absolutely perfect for wintertime. It's got this kind of disturbing Snowden feel to it, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. Christina Henry is a little bit of a hit and miss author for me, but I'm excited to read this one. I think it might have something to do with a werewolf or some kind of monster, something like that. So we have a woman and her husband who are living in the wilderness, I believe in this lovely little boat that's here on the cover. And I think they are kind of snowed in and somebody comes to their door, I think needing help or something like that. And she's nervous about her husband being around this other person because her husband, she says something about, you don't want to see my husband when he's angry. And it kind of insinuates maybe he turns into something. I don't know, but it sounds really fascinating. It sounds like it could be kind of fun, like thrillery, kind of scary read for the winter. I don't know. We'll see. I'm really hoping I love it because I want to love another Christina Henry book again, because so far I've only loved one out of the several I've read. So I really hope that I enjoy this one because I think it sounds cool and it sounds nice and cold and chilly and it'd be perfect for a cold winter's night. This next one I need to go ahead and jump into because I just recently read the first book and I want to continue with the series so don't forget anything because there's a lot going on. And that is the second book in the Mirror Visitor series, which is called The Missing of Clairdelune. It is by Christelle Dabos. There are 4 books in the series in total. They're all chunkers. I really enjoyed the first one a lot, so I really want to continue with the series again because there's so much that happens. This is all in its own like high fantasy kind of world, and so there's a lot of world building in the first book, and I don't want to forget stuff. So I want to see what happens too. So I'm excited to read this one. I can't really say much about the second book because I don't want to spoil anything, but in the first book, we are in this world where there are these different floating spires or floating chunks of land, and there's sort of different people groups that live on these different chunks of land. And then one girl, one day, her family ends up doing like putting a political marriage together for her. So she's going to be married off to someone that's of high importance on another floating land. And she is being sent there and she ends up getting mixed up in a lot of the court politics there, and it's just, there's a lot going on. It's hard to describe exactly everything, but it's very magical. This girl has abilities of being able to, one, read objects. She can touch an object and be able to see its past and who inherited it or who used it and for where it's been and all that kind of stuff. And she can also travel through mirrors, hence why it's called the Mirror Visitor series. She's able to travel through mirrors and everything to different places. So it sounds really cool. I'm really excited to jump further into this series and see what happens because I'm starting to fall in love with these characters and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited about it. All right, now let's delve into some books that I have here, and it looks like a big stack. I'm not going to be able to get through all these unless I just have like an obscene amount of time to read in January, but you never know. So the first one is one I had on my December TBR and I don't think I'm going to get to it, or I'm pretty sure at this point. I'm filming this in the middle of December, so I don't think I'm going to get to it. And that is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Brigid Kemmerer. This is the first book in a trilogy that is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. We are following this girl who ends up getting sucked into this other magical world, and in this magical world there is a prince. I think it's a prince, and once a year he turns into a monster, and whenever he turns into a monster he's not able to control himself. He ends up really wreaking havoc havoc and killing a lot of people. And of course, he doesn't want to turn into the monster. And the only way to break this curse that has on him is if he is to fall in love with someone, and someone falls in love with him in turn. So like Beauty and the Beast, except for the fact that he's not the monster all the time now. He just turns into a monster once a year. So that's all I know about it, and I know there's probably a lot more to it than that, and I'm really excited to delve into it. It feels very wintry to me, this fairy tale retelling, so I'm excited and hoping I can get to this in January. I need to focus on trying to get to this because this has been sitting on my TBR for quite a while, so I need to get to it. The next one, for some reason, just screams winter to me, just the vibe it has, and that is Paranessi by Susanna Clarke. This is a nice, smaller book. Thank goodness. A lot of the books on my TBR are so big. This one, I don't know much about. I think it's supposed to be, have some stuff from like Greek mythology in it, I believe. And we're following this character called Piranesi, and he lives in this house that seemingly never ends. And he spends his life exploring the home. And he ends up thinking that there is somebody else living in the house with him, and he's not sure who it is. So he's trying to explore the house and figure some things out. That's all I know about it. I've heard good things. It doesn't really sound like my initial cup of tea because I'm not terribly interested in like mythology, but it sounds, I don't know, it just sounds kind of cool. I think the cover is really pretty, and I like the fact that it's nice and small too. I feel like it'll be a nice quick read and something a little bit different. It's nice and healthy, I think, to delve into some books that are a little bit different than your normal books that you read. Going in a completely different vein, we're gonna go to some sci-fi. So I really want to get to Aurora's End by Amie Kaufman and Kristoff. This is the third and final book in the Aurora Cycle series, and I love this series so much. It is a YA sci-fi series. We were following this misfit crew of teens who are basically having to save the universe, and that's all I'm gonna say. It's fantastic. I love the characters so much. It's fast-paced. Sorry, I tried to say fast-witty at the same time. It's fast-paced, witty writing style. It's high stakes. I really love it. I love all the characters. They're all so funny and endearing and wonderful, and I just love this series, and I love that the way that Amie Kaufman and Kristoff write together. So, and the character, his name is Finn, that's on the cover, and he's one of my favorite characters, and I hope they treat him well, because I'm afraid somebody's gonna die. I'm afraid that somebody's gonna die in this book, or more characters are gonna die, and I'm just scared because I love all these babies and I want them all to be okay. So I'm excited and terrified to read this final book. And at the same time, I don't want it to be over. So, but I really want to read it and find out what happens. I'm going to do my best to get to it because I need to know. All right, I've got two more books here, and they are both chunkers. This one is a lot heavier than I remembered it being, and that is The Dark Vault by Victoria Schwab. This is a bind-up of her archived duology, unlike the archive. Yeah, it's the archive duology. And I have had this on my TBR for so long, and I really need to get to it. It sounds super fascinating. All I know about it is it's about this library that after you die, your whole life is bound up in a book. Like everything that you've done and said, I think is like bound up in a book and put in this library. And that's all I know about it. It sounds really interesting. I know Victoria Schwab is probably going to be dark. There might be some characters that are morally gray, because I feel like she's so good at writing morally gray characters, and I'm excited to finally get to this because I legit have had this on my TBR for so long, and I really want to get to it, and I think it's the time. All right, lastly, this is another one I'm intimidated by because it's the start of a very long series, and I'm afraid of series. I'm afraid of commitment, and that is Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger. This is the first book in a middle grade series, and I think there's, oh my goodness, I feel like there's a lot of books in this series. I mean, there's probably close to 10 or more. I'm not sure if they're all out yet. I don't know if they're still coming out, but they're all big like this, and I'm afraid to start it because it's going to be a commitment. But I think I might try to maybe read one of these a month if I really enjoy it. If I read this first one and I'm hooked, so I'm like, yes, I want to read more, then maybe I'll try to focus on reading one a month and just kind of pick through it that way. I know it'll take time to do it that way, but maybe it'll feel more manageable. I don't know. Oh, this story, we're following this girl here who is a little bit of a fish out of water. She is able to, I think, hear people's thoughts. She's extremely smart, and she just feels like she doesn't fit in until she meets this boy here, and she finds out that she's actually an elf, or part elf, and she goes to this other magical world and goes to a magic school. So sounds very like something that would give me some Hogwarts vibes, which who doesn't want to have that kind of vibe going on? It's just cozy. And I've heard so many good things about this series. Even my mom's read this first one and really, really loved it. So I need to get to it. I gotta just bite the bullet and do it and start this series because I think it's one I'm really gonna enjoy. I'm just afraid to start it because commitment issues. If it's longer than a trilogy, I start to have heart palpitations. So this is definitely way more than a trilogy. Those are all the books I'm hoping to get. Ooh, I just like chucked that book. Those are all the books I'm hoping to get to in January. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get through them all because several of them are pretty thick. There's some thick boys on this TBR, so we'll see. But maybe I'll have more time to read in January. I don't know, but I'm excited about all of these. I really want to get to all of these. If some of these I don't get to in January, I may roll them over to the next month because I really want to get to all of these books. These all feel high priority to me, so I'm excited to hopefully finally get to them. Please let me know down below, first of all, if you've read any of these books and what you think about them, and also, what is your January TBR? If you're a TBR person, I know some people are mood readers and they just want to just pick as they go, but let me know what you're planning or hoping to get to soon. I would love to know, and it might give me some more suggestions of books to read. On this side of the video over here is my logo. If you click on that, you can subscribe to my channel, follow me on my book journey. I would love to have you be a part of my channel and get the chance to chat with you more often and get to know you. On this side of the video over here is a suggestion for another video if you would like to watch another one right now. But thank you so much for watching. You rock, and don't forget to keep reading. Happy New Year. Bye.